Hey everyone, it's Joy here. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so very much for stopping by and watching. I am here to share another stamp set from my collaboration with rubberstamps.com. This is my Summer Dahlias stamp set, and you get 3 beautiful flowers on here. So let's take a look at the stamp set and then I'll show you what I made with it. So again, here's the 3 beautiful dahlias. You have a nice solid stem, 3 leaves, and then you've got some sentiment. So you have a sentiment that says "you are," and then in a different font it says "beautiful, amazing, brave, and kind." And I just thought, what great sentiments. And this one is dedicated to my daughter because she is so very brave. So let's get to making this card. I have some watercolor cardstock from Ranger Ink. I am going to use 2 of my dahlias here. I'm going to stamp those. I did prep it with a powder tool. I am going to ink up with Watermark clear embossing ink. And then I'm using some gold embossing powder. I love that look for the line instead of like a black line. This just is going to bump up the elegance a little bit of this card. So let's sprinkle on that gold embossing powder. I do have my heat tool already heated up. I do like to have that nice and hot before I take it to my paper. It really limits how much warping you're going to get on your cardstock. So it's really nice to do ahead of time. So now that I have my flowers done, I do want to put in my stems. So I'm going to have 2. I'm using the 1 stem from the stamp set, but you can turn it to give it a different orientation. So I want to get the first one here. Again, I'm going to prep my cardstock with an anti-static powder tool. It just helps to eliminate little stray pieces of embossing powder. I'm using gold embossing powder here. I can heat that up. Then I can plop this right back into my MISTI. Turn that stem a different orientation for this next dahlia, and then I can stamp that just like I stamped the first one. So prepping that with the powder tool again, inking it up with my embossing ink, my clear embossing ink from Watermark, and then sprinkling on my gold embossing powder. I am also going to be using some zig markers on this because I'm using the watercolor cardstock, and I thought it would be fun to just do some fun bright colors for this. I also am stamping on my leaves here. I have 3 different sizes. I have a large, medium, and small in this stamp set, and so you can just put them on however you like. I kind of like this like deconstructed flowers, so you could make the arrangement on your card exactly how you wanted to. You don't have to put any stems on, you don't have to put any leaves on, you could just do the flowers on the background. You could make a background with the leaves and have one of these dahlias in the center. Like, there's so many ways you could get away with this. Okay, so for my zigs, I'm using orange, light carmine, lemon yellow, and then for the leaves, I'm going to use turquoise green. So what I like about using embossing powder when you're using your zig colors, it kind of contains your color inside the image, which makes it super easy to color and a lot harder to color outside of the lines. So for a project like this, when you have so many little petals on these flowers, doing something like this makes it super easy to color. So as you can see, I'm laying down my color at the base of each of the petals, and then I'm dipping my brush in a little bit of water. I just tap it off lightly on a paper towel, and then I blend from the color out to the end of the petal so it's lighter. So you have a darker area and a lighter area, really quick and easy. So I'm using pink, orange, and yellow for this, and I think it really turned out just kind of funky and fun. And then I felt like you could also see all of the petals in this pretty dahlia. And I started with the yellow, and then I think I did pink and orange, and I just kind of put the colors where it felt like they needed to be. And then as I went through the 3 colors, I still had some open petals, and then I could fill in with the other colors. I'm going to do the same thing on this dahlia here. Look at how pretty that is. I love this one. I love the shape of this one. So I did the same exact thing that I did with the other one, just adding the color and blending it out with a little bit of water. Here is that turquoise green for the leaves. I love turquoise, so I thought let's be a little different, and instead of just doing a straight green leaf, we're going to do a fun pop of color with this turquoise. So now that that is all blended, and isn't that so pretty, I do want to trim this card panel down a little bit. I usually start with a bigger card panel on most of my projects and then I end up trimming it down, but I do like that these flowers and leaves are going off the side, so it feels like it's filling up the whole card panel. So let's trim that down a little bit with my paper trimmer, and then I want to add the sentiment. So this is a true one layer card, which I don't usually make. I always end up popping up the sentiment or something, but I actually did not do that on this card. I am going to add the sentiment that says "You are brave," and we're going to do some gold embossing with that. And I love the fonts in this. The beautiful, amazing, brave, and kind have such a pretty, dainty little font. And then the "You are" is just kind of like this more normal text, and I just think it really goes nice together. So I'm using my MISTI. I have lined up my sentiments. I'm prepping it with a powder tool, inking it up with a clear embossing ink. And I like to do it a few times just to make sure I get a nice, good, crisp image. Then I can sprinkle on my gold embossing powder. My heat tool is already on, just like at the beginning. And then I can heat that up just until that embossing powder melts. And I want to add a gold matte, just a really thin-edged gold matte behind my card panel. I like the really thin mattes because I think it just adds a little something extra without having this huge piece of colored cardstock. Not that it's a problem, and I think sometimes I think that's really, really pretty, but on a card like this, I think less is more. So I'm going to add my adhesive to the back, line this up, and then I'm going to adhere this to a white A2 size card base. And then you can see how that just pops out with that nice gold mirror cardstock. Let's add that right to the center. And I am not even going to add any sequins or anything. I think the gold embossing powder is like the nice level up on this card. So, but look at how pretty that is. Look at how nice these flowers are, how it fills up your card. I just think these are so pretty, and they're so fun to color, you guys. You can find these at rubberstamps.com, and I do have that listed and linked below for you in the description. So if you want to go check that out, I would greatly appreciate it. But you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.